Hey guys, how you doing? Uncle Bob here once again with another video, and today we're going to be doing the movie DVD review of Marvel Studios Deadpool and Wolverine movie, which was released not very long ago, a couple of months ago, where it was in the UK, and I did actually see it at the cinema, so I've already seen it. Like a lot of the films, most of them I miss, but this time because I wanted to definitely see this, and yeah, so seen this already once so far, and I'll be watching it again on a DVD, and obviously it's the third film in the Deadpool movie franchise, third film after coming from Deadpool the first and then Deadpool 2. And then obviously Deadpool, the third film, Deadpool Wolverine. And it's sometime after the second one. I believe the second one was 2018, I think it was. So yeah, this 6 years. I would say quite a long while since we had the last Deadpool film. I think there was a bit of delayed on this. I'm not sure if it was supposed to release a few years ago. I think everything got delayed with COVID. I think COVID really messed a lot of things up, didn't it? In 2020, a lot of films were delayed a few years. So yeah, it's probably like a lot of films, 2 years maybe behind schedule, something like that, possibly. But yeah, um, So this was released not too long ago, and yeah. Um, so the cast is obviously uh, Ryan Reynolds, who's obviously Deadpool again for the third time. Has been Deadpool twice before, and obviously again. And Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, as he, has there only ever been Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? So obviously reprising that role again, and seemingly was supposed to be Wolverine for the last time in Logan, but then yeah, got talked back into coming back as Wolverine again in this film. Not sure if Ryan Reynolds was the one that talked him into it, but yeah, uh, persuaded him to come back in this. And this time he's got the uh, very um, well known and a classic, uh, very distinctive yellow X-Men suit, which is from the comics and the old cartoon, and then yeah, it was disappointing when we didn't get that suit in the X-Men films, and then yeah, don't know why they didn't. Maybe they just thought it didn't look right, but he had a black suit in that. And then finally, after years and years of waiting, probably about 24 years waiting since obviously the first X-Men film, we finally get the yellow and black suit that we'd been dying for. I think it's yellow and dark blue. I thought it was yellow and black, but yellow and dark blue. But yeah, pretty much a yellow suit with the distinctive mask. I remember seeing that in the cartoon when I was younger. So yeah, very cool to have that in there. I think a lot of people wanted that in there as well. So they are the two main roles. Obviously, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. There's other cast members. It's got Wesley Snipes back as Blade. Um, as Blade in the other films. Trying to think who are the other characters. Emma Corrin and Matthew McFadden. There's a few others. I'm not too familiar with. Yeah, I think I think the one that plays Electra. But yeah, Electra, the character, is in this, and also the actress that played the one that was in is it X10 or something like that? One that was in Logan. Yeah, so the actress is in that, and she's a lot older now. Yeah, and yeah, there's a few others that I can't think of the top of my head. But yeah, that's the main story or plot is, if I can get this right. So basically, after the events of Deadpool 2, Deadpool steals Cable's time travel device, and he basically wants to use it for the purpose of preventing the death of his girlfriend. Obviously, he gets killed, and he gets Cable's timeline device, and then he uses that to try and prevent the death of his girlfriend. He also does a few other things. He's a bit naughty with it, and he tries to use it to change sort of a few things and all the things, and then he tries to sort of go and try and join the Avengers and different things. Yeah, so he uses it for other purposes, and that's over the course of sort of like the time from Deadpool to now. So it's sort of like the 6 year period was where he's been using the timeline to sort of. And then he goes back to Wolverine to try and resurrect him, and yeah, he does all sorts of things. Yeah, he sort of abuses the power of the device, so to speak. And yeah, so he uses that. Now the TVA, which is so basically he's been altering stuff, in the universe, and it's caused a paradox in in the timeline. So because due to his changing things in the course of the timeline. He's caused sort of a paradox where he's changed things, and the TVA are a company that monitors the timelines. Well, they say they're outside of the thing, and they monitor the timeline and see that there's a paradox happening, and they go out to arrest Deadpool, and they say that what he's caused a paradox, and say to him, about abusing the time travel device, and yeah, he gets into trouble with them, and they explain to him that what he's caused is a paradox, and they, it's done in the timeline and mess things up, and they basically say to him. The Wolverine that he's brought back, they say to him that that's the worst version of Wolverine, and that he shouldn't have been using him. But then he tries to convince him that the Wolverine is the best one, and he's going to try and persuade them, or he's going to just get that Wolverine to be the best one, even though they're saying to him that that's the worst one. And we didn't, we wanted him dead anyway. But then he obviously persuades them. They don't want him to use that Wolverine, but he goes against it and tries to use that Wolverine anyway. And they basically say to him, the deal is that he's got to try and fix what he's caused in the paradox. And they're saying to him that he can, saying to him he could become maybe one of the Avengers. I think that's what they say to him. But anyway, so he goes back through time with the original Wolverine after traveling through time to try and find him. Finds the original Wolverine, goes back through time, and they try and change course, but they have to get through this thing called the Void, uh, which is run by Cassandra and a group of evil mutants who are in this sort of void, which is something to try and stop, or it has been trying to stop other heroes and superheroes going through the void to try and get through it. And they've been stopping them, and they've got to also go through time and get through the void and defeat Cassandra. Get through it. Is the general position, but obviously Cassandra is she's already killed some of the other superheroes, and then tries to stop them. And along the way, it sort of is they go on a sort of like journey, going through time to get through to the void. They meet up with the other superheroes like Gambit, Wesley, Blade, Elektra, and X10, or I'm not sure if that's X10 or something else. And then they meet up eventually after going on a bit of a journey, and they meet up with those, and then they all get together to go and try and get through the void. And then having done that, or that's perhaps the plot, Cassandra then wants to get the device for herself, and she wants to I think she wants to destroy all the timelines to all the different events of things going on, and yeah, she wants to do that. And then they try and stop her, and they'll try and prevent that from happening. And yeah, that's the general gist of it. I hope I got through and clarified most of it. It is a bit confusing, but you sort of know what the general gist of the idea was. But yeah, it's a bit hard to explain, but yeah. Now, I think the feeling is when you watching this, yeah, you get a sense of. I think at the beginning I was like, oh, was this going to be just like another Deadpool film, where it's just going to be sort of the same old thing over and over again. And at the beginning, yeah, it's sort of like, oh no, it's just the same thing. We're just doing loads of fighting. It's going to be just the same thing over and over again. And there's going to be some boring bits. But once it starts to pick up, once Wolverine and Deadpool are together, it starts to get really good. When they fight against each other is quite entertaining. And then once they get into the sort of journey of going on the journey towards the void, it starts to get more interesting and a lot more funner. So yeah, you start to feel with a real sense of, really enjoying it with the other characters coming in it, like having Blade back in it and Gambit. And yeah, you just really, oh, this is really, really good. And you just really start to enjoy it. I think it's really, really fun. And yeah, it's just really good. Now, actually looking at the film itself, I think now I think maybe some people might disagree, or some people might agree. I think generally it's mostly all good. But I think there's maybe a few bits where it's sort of repetitive and the same sort of thing over and over again, where it's the same sort of fighting, where he uses guns or swords, and it just becomes the same thing where it's doing the same sort of thing over and over again. And I think there is a few times at the beginning, I think it starts out right, but then it goes a bit boring. You like, oh, you feel a bit not so bored as such, but you sort of is this going to be actually a good plot? Is it going to be a story, a good, enjoyable storyline? Is it just going to be something that's not very good? And is it just going to be the same as previous Deadpool movies and just, yeah, sort of like same type of thing? But then once it gets into the storyline and it sort of picks up, sort of like in sort of like towards the middle of the movie, it starts to get more enjoyable. I think as it goes on, and I think yeah, it's yeah, I think it's, as I said, I think it starts off as a sort of bit, you know, not going to be, it's going to be all right, but not great. But then it sort of, yeah, it just sort of picks up and gets better um, as it goes on. And yeah, there's a lot of cool scenes that are good in it. Um, yeah, I think that, as I said, I think there's a few times where it's a bit, samey, and then when Wolverine and Deadpool fight, they fight a couple of times, which is sort of like anything. Oh, they fought already. Why are they fighting again? Um, Sort of thing. When you've seen them fight, and it's sort of fighting again, they sort of keep fighting a couple of times. I'm not sure if I fight twice or three times, but yeah, fight a couple of times. It sort of goes on a bit, probably too long. But I think once it gets, as I said, once it gets towards the middle, and then it sort of it just gets more, development into the story as it goes on. It just starts getting more enjoyable, and you just start to enjoy it more, and it just becomes more uh, funner and enjoyable. Um, Yeah, so I think more ups and downs, and as I said, there's a few surprises with Blade being in it, which is really really good to get him back. I do like Wesley Snipes, and I love Blade, and Gambit being in it is really fantastic. And it's Gambit like Wolverine suit. He's got the Gambit suit from the comics and cartoon as well, so that's very very good to have him in it. Because I think we only got Gambit, which sort of a not very good version in the Wolverine Origins film, but this Gambit is so much better. This is a Gambit similar to the Wolverine costume. This is a Gambit we should have had in the X-Men movies. A light Wolverine suit, we should have had that in old. So it was very good, and it felt very good to have those. I mean, I used to watch the X-Men stuff when I was younger, and to have Gambit like he was in this, and he sounds very good in it. It actually sounds like Gambit. It sounds really good, and to get the yellow suit Wolverine is very very good to have that. So yeah, that's very good. The fighting is really really good. I have no issues with the fighting. I thought the choreography is really good, and stuff. And I think, yeah, I think, as I said, start is a bit. Then when it gets to the plot, you think, oh, plot sounds, you get it. Doesn't sound too bad. Maybe it could be interesting. And I think once it gets through the middle bit, it just starts getting more enjoyable and better, I think, as it went along. And I think overall, with the expression of some things could have been better, maybe. I think there's a few things that maybe could have been better. Could have been extra. There could have been a few more maybe characters in it. Maybe. I think there's lots of characters in it, but I think maybe there could have been, considering this is the third film and quite a big movie. I think there should have been more, maybe a vast array of characters. As I said, so going on to sort of like positives and negatives. Positives being, yeah, it's fantastic to have Wolverine and Deadpool in the same movie. It's fantastic. Having Gambit in it, like he's sounding like him and looking like him, is very fantastic. And having the yellow costume, Wolverine, was really really good. The fighting was really really fantastic. Generally, I think it was pretty good all the way through, and just yeah, it's still good. Whether there should have been a few things different or not. Yeah. Uh, and any Marvel film, I enjoy a Marvel film, so it's going to be good anyway with all the vast array of characters and choreography and all fight scenes going on. I think the storyline was okay. Maybe not the best storyline ever, but sort of one where you sort of did understand it and what's happening. Now, the negatives, also another positive was the time, because that's one thing that for me is something that I take note of. The time, I thought the time was actually quite perfect. It wasn't because Marvel films you need them to be long. It was I think it was the perfect time actually. It wasn't too long, it wasn't too short, so that was another good thing. That said, the negatives, not many negatives, but maybe a few things that could have been better. I think maybe some of the characters could have been in it longer. Blade, Gambit wasn't in it long enough. They was only in it for one sort of fight scene. That was a good fight scene, but maybe the fight scene could have gone on longer. And then Gambit, there was an end scene where Deadpool and Wolverine took on uh, loads of Deadpools, and then they just fought those Deadpool on their own. And I thought maybe Gambit, I was expecting Gambit, Blade, and all that to show up and help them fight them, and I thought that would have been really, really awesome. And then I would have absolutely loved this movie and not said uh, much negatives at all. But I think, yeah, I think that could have come back in it again for another fight. So I think that was a negative that I was only in it a short time and not long enough. I think the another negative is sort of the repetitiveness of just because when they're fighting the Deadpools, it's the same thing: fighting, shooting, Deadpool using the same weapons, shooting, using his swords, and it just becomes the same thing over and over again. Not doing anything any different. Using his sword, using his guns, using his sword, using his guns, same thing over and over again. And like you see in action films, like you see with Arnold Schwarzenegger's action, he doesn't just use the same gun over and over again. You see it in different action scenes. There's an action scene where he uses maybe hand-to-hand combat, then another scene where he uses a gun, or do you know what I mean? It's different arrays, but it just seems like it was, there's one fight scene, he uses guns as well. Another fight scene, he uses guns as well. Same thing. So I think, it could have been a maybe difference in sort of what he was doing, maybe. I don't know, just an idea. It's just not the same thing over and over again. Yeah, so, and there may be times where it's sort of, I think when they was on that journey going through to the void, I think there could have been a few more extra things because other than the void and fighting each other, there wasn't else much. There wasn't many like other threats coming towards them. I thought they would have bumped into maybe a few other villains along the way and had fights with them, but it's sort of they were sort of like bickering. Sort of ended up having a fight, and then they was bickering against each other, and then they sort of got into another fight, and then they met up with another nice Deadpool, and there's sort of not many other threats. And then they sort of fight with each other, and then they sort of met up with the other superheroes and went to the void. Yeah, I thought there could have been a few more other things in there as well that could have been made it just more exciting and fun and enjoyable. I think just the fact is, I think it sort of goes off to a slow start, and you're thinking, oh, is this going to be any different to the other Deadpool films? Going to be any good? But I think, I think more positives than negatives. But it's certainly for me, I don't think it was a perfect end. I think what it could have been, what it was, and what it could have been was two different things. I think it could have been. It's good, but I think it could have been so much better. So with that being said, I think I'm going to give it maybe a seven, seven and a half out of 10, maybe. I think 7.5 being generous. I don't think it's an 8, to be honest. yeah, I think more negatives than positives. I think maybe a 7 is fair out of 10. Well, I would certainly have had a few things that have been different. Right, that is my review, guys. Yeah, there was a lot to get through and a lot to talk about. But yeah, you know, with these reviews, I like to, go through everything, the story, the plot, and just make these DVD reviews just as best as I can possibly make it, and use up all my energy talking about it. And yeah, I'm sorry it's so long. If it's too long for you, I do apologise. But you know, if it's a good review and you enjoy it and think it's a good review and a decent review, then I'm happy and I'm glad you enjoy it. But if you find it too long, feel free to just skip through it. But yeah, I'd just like to give a nice, good, proper in-depth through. And there was a lot to talk about. The plot, the cast, what was good and what was bad, and yeah, just a general thing. I mean, I would have liked to have done it maybe shorter, but yeah, I'd just like to go through everything and just give a good review. I don't think reviews can be quick, to be honest, because I don't think you're covering much in saying about different things. And I just like to you know go through a lot of the things and discuss. So, guys, that is my review on it. 7 out of 10, 7.5 if I'm being generous. But I think there's a few things that I would have changed in it. So, guys, that's my review of it. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next video. Take care, bye for now. Thanks for watching.